Okay, so full disclaimer, I have recorded this video ahead of time because for the week I've been in Las Vegas. So I took a little vacation with my daughter. She plays club volleyball, and it just so happens that the Nationals Championship tournament is in Las Vegas this week for her age bracket. So she was playing in the 14s and 15s. We're going to watch them while in Vegas. And then Friday and Saturday, I will be at the Ford event. So if you are there and you see me and you're wondering, how is this video coming to me where it looks like Deb's in her normal studio? I'm not. I'm in Vegas, but I wanted to get this out ahead of time. So, a couple things. I received really good feedback from last month when I went over the battle plan and the monthly calendar when it came time for the client event. So, remember, guys, every month, the marketing standards, when I say marketing, I'm talking beyond just social media, because social media is an aspect to your reputation management, your brand awareness, and your marketing. But we can't assume that social media includes all of your marketing, right? So if you look at July content calendar, the 30,000 foot above view, you'll see that next week is, so Monday is Give Something Away Day. Wednesday is National Emoji Day. Could be cool to interview for your Friday behind the scenes video. Maybe you ask your team, and it could be processor underwriter, that if they had to describe what they do using just one emoji, that could be fun. And it shows team personality. Nelson Mandela Day is Friday. Lollipop Day, not quite sure how well known Lollipop Day is, but that is Saturday. And then National Ice Cream Day is Sunday next week. So my thoughts were, when thinking about July client educational event, it's like, how could we incorporate this event to be fun this time, not educational? Usually these are educational and you can get away with them being on Zoom for the educational ones. I would plan, like, whether it's every other month or once a quarter, where it's a live fun database community event, because the whole goal of these guys is to be minimal out of pocket. So you're looking for free venues, you're looking for vendors to come and donate their time or their services or products, because it helps give them exposure. You have a sign-in sheet because there's usually some kind of raffle. So you're always adding people to your database so you can get in front of more people in the community and really be seen. But ultimately, it's easy to then have conversations when you're making your Thursday database calls, and you want them to invite their friends. It doesn't just have to be clients. Like, it's anyone in the community that wants to come to this event, whether it's educational or fun. That is the goal, because it is a contact sport, and this is a one pillar of how to grow your business just by being more visible. It helps with creating social media content, behind the scenes media content, user generated content, where the people in the community are having so much fun that they post a story or they post something online and they tag you. And so my thoughts were, how could we create an event that could have an ice cream truck guy who's there willing to give away ice cream for free? Again, it's to entice them, that they could have a station set up where for future events, whether it's corporate events or maybe birthday parties, it gets them the exposure. Think of things like face painter, balloon tossing contest, if you have or know someone who owns a dunk booth. But this month, I want it to be themed for back to school picnic. And I'm thinking this is more like elementary school grade level appropriate. The middle schoolers and high schoolers, it's a little tough to get them there. But let me tell you, as a mama of four, you're always looking for things to do, to take kids to, that's not going to break the bank, that entertains them for a little bit. It's also not going to be too hot. So, think about that of when you're planning this. Are you going to do it on a weekend? Or are you going to do it on a Wednesday evening? Like, what's the easiest and best way? But that is the idea or the theme for this month. Now, last month, you guys told me you liked having the agenda on the battle plan, but you felt like you needed the next month to then execute the current month's plan. So know that even though this month is planned for back to school picnic, you could still do everything you need to do to get the invites, the RSVPs, the marketing, the vendors. Do that now, so that next month, mid-month, it's right when school's starting. So maybe it's a good back to school mixer. You don't have to call it a picnic. Maybe it's a mixer, but you want to make sure you get your ducks in a row where you have vendors who are willing to donate their time or their resources. You have volunteers, because I don't want this breaking the bank for you in order for it to consistently be done at a high level. So I was also thinking of having some kind of financial aspect to it, like back to school budgeting tips, when the sales, the tax-free week for shopping is. I'm one of those parents that just does the easy button, does the wrap pack for supplies, because it means it's all there and everything's in stock. And with 4 kids, it's a lot. Your shopping cart, and it's hard to remember who got what. And so we just do the wrap pack to make it easy. So let's go through next week's battle plan, and I will share my screen. I still had someone ask me, how do you download or where do you get the social media battle plan? So guys, remember, every time that you click the link, whether it's via the text or email that comes out on Fridays, your view may not look like this if you're looking at your phone. If you're on your phone, you have to scroll, like all of this section is underneath the video. So this is always the weekly coaching video or tip. And then again, if you're on a desktop computer, you'll just click to the right, you'll click and you can click download here. This is what I recommend you print out every week. You'll hit the X button to go back. This is your monthly content strategy with pillars that if you wanted to fill in your own blanks, while knowing it has the big marketing task. This is why we vary up, like preparing for your events is always the first Monday of the month. The second Monday of the month is always your mail day. The third Monday is your pop buys. These Mondays will alternate on the battle plan of what to do, along with your brand value placeholders. So this just makes it easy for you to fill in your own blanks if you don't like the cluttered one that I showed you earlier. And guys, print these things out. Like, that's what these are for. Print this out. This is your sales tracker for at the end of each week. Like, how many leads did you get? How many of those leads turned into credit pulls? How many of those credit pulls turned into pre-quals or pre-approvals? How many partner conversations did you have? How many database conversations did you have? Okay, this makes it really easy to track. And then end of month numbers is where you'll calculate your conversion rates, which is what we talked about last week. So again, you can hit download, have this printed, have it next to you for the entire month. Let's just go through some of these because I feel like we need to revisit what's in here. Hashtag holidays, that's pretty easy to understand of what the hashtag holidays are. These next 3 are the minimum standards. These are the things required in order to get optimal results. Believe it or not, this is a team sport. We are the defensive side of the strategy. You control the offensive side of the strategy. So if you just have defense working, no, that's better than nothing. But to get optimal results for reach, engagement, drumming up business, it does require executing these things because it is social media and there is an aspect to sales to this. This is why you can't really guarantee results, because not everyone has a follow-up strategy or CRM or is great at their scripting with converting an opportunity to an actual application or an appointment. So this is where you've got to increase your skills to then convert some of these opportunities. So again, I would recommend that you print this out and have it taped near your monitor if you want. These are why is this so darn big? There we go. No inappropriate comments there on that joke. All right, these are the things that we do daily. Again, remember, I recommend you divide this up into 4 different 15-minute segments throughout your day. That way, instead of trying to do all 20 of these things all at once, break it up into 5, 10, 15, 20. So you're doing 5 at a time all throughout the day. To me, that's easier than just getting it all done at once. But, to each their own. If you'd rather just carve out 30 minutes and knock them all out because you have your favorite speed set up, then go for it. But the goal is every single day, we're looking for 20 new accounts that are going to be referrals that we could potentially get from these people, or their clients or their past clients, or their people on, like it's the CPA listed on a tax return or a divorce attorney on a divorce decree. We're looking at our social media like a CRM. It's an extension to our database, and it's just relationship management where we stay top of mind. So this is essential because the goal is that like half of them will follow you back because you followed them first. Okay, so this is pretty self-explanatory. I've talked about it before. Print it out. If you have questions, let me know. Also, the weekly marketing standards. These are just like little affirmations that we've talked about over and over. Be a producer before a consumer. So do not allow yourself to just mindlessly consume, letting social media own you before you actually produce. So produce, go leave comments, go do likes, go interact with someone in their story before you allow yourself to consume. These are just the theme days that we have talked about over and over. Okay, so again, this wouldn't be a bad idea to have this posted somewhere. And then the sales standards. So what is your monthly funding goal? This is like the units or number of families served. What is your goal for July? What is your conversion rate? Remember that was last week's homework or 2 weeks ago, where I had asked y'all for the first half of the year to get your average conversion rate. That's important because then we can reverse engineer of how many credit pulls that you need per week, and then how many partner conversations you also need per week. We've got to know our target, guys, of like, what are we doing all this for? Just because everyone else says you need to be on social media and you need to be doing pop buys or mailers. It's not like, we've got to track the numbers and we've got to see where there's room for improvement. And it could be your emotional intelligence and being able to connect with others while giving borrower presentations or client presentations. That's probably been the most glaring area of why the biggest difference between top producers and those who are trying to become top producers is knowing what to say, when to say it, how to say it, communicating their value, but also executing their value. So if you struggle with knowing what to say, or your conversion rate is less than 30%, then you may want to attend our Exactly What to Say. This isn't me just trying to sell the event, but in September, which is at the bottom of every email, there's a link where you can sign up. I think it's September 17th and 18th in Plano, Texas. So it's in my area. The nerd had said anyone who comes in the day before and wants to stop by her office and have a little powwow, you can, because we rented the venue that's right across the street from her office. But we literally go through every single type of conversation, whether it's borrowers or agents, and we help you all understand exactly what to say. And honestly, it's not so much about knowing what to say, because at the end of the day, people hear what they want to hear. And so it's how do we speak to the subconscious mind to help clarify the noise in people's heads that is preventing them from being able to make decisions. But at a minimum, we can't hide behind the screens and think that social media is going to be just the easy button. All of a sudden, all this business comes in, because that's not true. And I'm not here to blow smoke up anyone's rear ends. This is still a skills market. So not a speed market, but a skills market. And that means we have to commit to these daily standards before noon on the sales side. So don't allow yourself to get, I don't want to say lazy, but to get caught. And these are them. Monday, we're always preparing for the week, making sure we have confirmed location, time, links, whatever may be needed for our qualified agent meetings. If you are not having at least 4 one-on-one meetings a week, then your punishment is open house crashing on the weekend. Tuesdays are status update calls. Wednesdays are protect the pipelines. I've said this over and over and over and over. This is the biggest cost in most mortgage professionals' business. They don't have a systematic way to stay on top of their pre-quals and pre-approvals. And once it goes past like 4 or 6 weeks, they're on to the next round of new applications. So anyone who could be out shopping, even if it's been 8 months, they should be on this Wednesday list. Thursdays are database calls. So this week we are calling everyone with the last name that starts with the letter C. Friday is, again, getting ready for your open houses. If you didn't meet your meetings for the week, or you're confirming and making sure you have your 4 set for the following week. So we compete every day. It's you versus you. Everybody wants to eat, but very few are willing to hunt. We are the hunters, guys. And we are hunting. We are bringing a gun to a knife fight by leveraging the social media battle plan, leveraging the research and content that we're creating so that you can elevate and ultimately dominate. All right, let's go to the battle plan. Since so many of you had said that knowing the agenda for the client event was helpful, I want you guys to see where that is in the battle plan. So let me pull that up. Okay, so this is 9 pages, guys. 9. This is just your cheat sheet in the beginning, because Mondays are like your mad operation days. They're heavy days on Mondays. You're executing your 1-hour time block to batch create your video content. You're getting all your sales list prepared for the week so that it makes it easier to win by noon. And it's confirming like appointments that you have scheduled, getting ready for events. It's that Mondays are the days that we also do the bigger marketing. So there's not usually any appointments set on Mondays. That's why I say 4 qualified agent meetings a week. Mondays are just assumed. It's a lot. This is to help you get organized as you're on the phone, confirming your qualified agent meetings, like who it's with, time, location, what's their production. And then before you leave that meeting, when is the next meeting set for? It's also to prepare your marketing campaign or your marketing for the week. So this week, like I had mentioned earlier, is Popeye Day. And Popeyes are meant to be more like your milk routes for builders, CPAs, financial advisors, will and estate attorneys, divorce attorneys. It's people that are usually in office that you're just trying to stay top of mind, kind of like what insurance agents do for mortgage professionals. There's a number of people that just because I saw their face and they were consistent, I was like, I just have pity. It could be a cheesy thing, but I just felt bad. They kept coming by. They were consistent. I felt cared for. I don't know. Maybe that works for you guys. Maybe it doesn't. But my thought was, since it's National Ice Cream Month and National Ice Cream Day is the following Sunday, so the 21st, it's an easy way to put in an ice cream scoop, and you could need the scoop for the interest rate market and it has your info, or want the scoop on the interest rate market or the housing market. It's cheesy. I know. It forces you to pop by and show your face, and maybe out of guilt, they'll continue to use you or refer people to you. And then not only is it Popeye Day on Monday, but it's our client event week. And this is a fun event. So I have called this back to school picnic. You could call it back to school mixer. Maybe you have even some adult beverages for the parents, whatever you want. I planned for 2 hours at a local park. And this is the breakdown. If I were going to break down the agenda, a realistic time frame of how you could execute this would be the first 15 minutes is just greeting people. It's getting all the sign-ins. You're encouraging them to sign in because you're going to do a raffle at the end. But obviously we want to get them, and you could do this with a QR code that's like a Google form. And if you guys need help with how to do that, you can create Google forms for free. Let me know and I'll do a video on that. But it's just your way to meet and greet, to give the lay of the land of like where the bathrooms are or what the vendor station is and the different types of activities. So that's from like 1 to 1:15. From 1:15 to 1:30, you're going to introduce yourself and your vendors and those who have offered maybe free ice cream or the face painter of where to get their information if they have an upcoming birthday party and they want to use them. Maybe you even have a photographer that's there taking photos that if they're wearing name tags, it makes it easier to then send out the video or the photos for them. But you're just giving your thank you for their time and for bringing their friends, and you really care about the community. And that's what you help build with your real estate partners, is every home is one step deeper into building that community. So, okay, 1:30 to 2 is the family picnic time. So again, this is where if there's finger foods or light, maybe it's instead of picnic, it's more ice cream, unless you have someone there that's willing to do like a hot dog stand or a popcorn stand or pretzels. Sometimes you have to think about gluten-free and allergy, so just be careful on that a little bit, but you could easily have the hamburger man there if you want. I think it would be cool to have picnic blankets. Maybe you even have like your logo or hashtag on them in some way. They make great stadium blankets that maybe someone would be willing to donate or to pay for. So this is where you can get your insurance agent to pay for a bunch of picnic blankets. It's just a thought. And this is when you're mingling with the attendees, because obviously when everyone is signing in at the same time, and hopefully you have volunteers that can help you with that part, but you want to be shaking hands with the new guest who brought their friends that you haven't met and you can put in your database, right? Maybe they could be added to your HomeBot if you have a HomeBot. Okay, 2 to 2:30 is when the fun and activities or the games are. You could have prizes for different winners at every station if you're doing like a sack race or a 3-legged race. I don't know how I feel about the tug of war. That could be a little dangerous. And for those who don't want to participate in the more competitive activities, that's where I would do either bounce houses or the face painting or the dunk booth, where it's not competitively driven, especially for the little ones. And then from 2:30 to 2:45 gives you about 15 minutes for them to interact with the different vendors. Obviously, they're going to be doing that probably the entire time, but it also is very helpful for anyone who is giving something away to entice them of like why they should come work your event for free. For the parents who have older kids, like a sports nutritionist or safety expert, think outside the box here that anyone you can get confirmed, boy, does that make it very compelling when you're doing your pre-marketing and trying to get people to attend. Is a lot of times it's who else do you have there that one, they're going to appreciate you inviting them. These could also then be people you follow up with to do your weekly interviews. So the host your show days, guys, see how this is all starting to be like a domino effect, that the vendors that you get to be at your events are the same people that, depending on if you like them, you then interview them on your weekly show. That's usually 2 or 3 of those a month. See how this all works? And then this all creates content same time. So I promise there's a method to the madness here. At the very end, from 2:45 to 3 is when you can do your raffle drawing, or you give out the prizes and obviously closing remarks. And then the very last thing, which is probably the most important, is your post-event follow-up. Are you sending thank yous? Are you tagging people in different posts? Are you calling those new people that you hadn't met that weren't in your database? Don't forget the post-event follow-up. It is essential, okay? And that's really it. That's it for next week's battle plan. Know that the TCA Tuesday example is from Daniel Saw. He had a great interview on the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel. I want to say he has 40 loan officers that work with him, and they're all averaging seven closings a month on average between all of them. So he's got some unusually really high consistent numbers from across the board. And he does have some pretty ruthless standards though. So you guys could all be consistently doing 7 loans a month if you executed these battle plans in our monthly strategy every day, right? Do you guys agree? Could you end up doing more than that? As your database grows, your database should be feeding you new business year after year. And it's a lot easier for people to remember you, especially when they may write a check to a servicer that's not you. They may forget who you are, or maybe where you're at, which company you're at now. Maybe your contact information has changed. This is how we stay top of mind. And then we take that list of all those who attended and we start adding them to our social media, because that's another form of staying top of mind. So I hope this was helpful. If you guys have further questions of like, how does this get executed, or how to do a free Google form where people could fill out their information, just ask and you shall receive. But it does require you to ask. All right, y'all take care. Have a great weekend.